and welcome to our Friday, March 3rd, 2017 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news this evening, measures to ensure that foreign exchange rates are stable and sufficient further explained by top officials, Ministry of Public Security to partner with stakeholders for safer communities, and non-governmental organization working with the government towards alternative sentencing for youths. These and other stories when the news returns. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. Measures to ensure that foreign exchange rates are stable and sufficient, further explained by top financial officials. More in this Paul McAdam report.
The government has not set any rates for foreign exchange, says Finance Minister Winston Jordan.
The exchange rate for Guyana is freely determined, or I put freely in uplifted commas. Freely determined, it's a liberalized rate. What we have put in place is a spread. You can buy at $250 if you want and sell at $253. It's just a spread. We're not setting the rate. Right? You could buy at any rate you want, but what we're saying, to sell it back, you must only make a profit of $3, maximum of $3. I don't see how that could be rate setting, essentially. I think it will be gouging if you bought at $199 and expect to sell at $240 and $250.
This comes after several media reports described as speculative by the minister and other top financial sector officials about foreign currency being hoarded as a result of a shortage or restricted supply. Adding support to the finance minister was Bank of Guyana Governor Dr. Gobind Kanga. He explains that over the last 2 months, in particular, foreign exchange interactions have been on the increase.
In January of this year, we would have seen purchases by bank cambios to be about 82.7 million.
That's US dollars?
US dollars.
Where?
By February 18th, we have seen bank cambios again, purchases 158 million US dollars. So by the end of February, you will have seen much more in terms of the purchase. In terms of sales, in January, sales were 95.1 million US dollars. February, up to February 18th, 164.6 million US dollars.
It was reported that non-bank cambios, for example, recorded purchases of $3.2 million US and $2.4 million US in January and February, respectively. Sales for the same period amounted to $5.6 million US dollars and $6.3 million US dollars, respectively. Dr. Ganga recalled that the spread between selling and purchasing prices for foreign exchange averaged $1.64 US cents during 2016 for non-bank cambios. This spread, he notes, has almost been doubled to $3 US dollars.
Someone was saying because of the spread, they are unable to do the type of or the level of business. I can't see how the spread would have affected the purchase and sale. What we would have seen in terms of commitment in terms of people requesting foreign exchange is that the bank would have indicated to us. For example, on Monday, I'm giving you as I get them as of this week. On Monday, for example, we had commitment due within 1 week to be at 11.6 million US. As of Tuesday, commitments were 8.6 million.
The financial sector official reiterated that all of the officially recognized cambios and banking facilities are doing is to ensure that there is enough foreign exchange available. Government is moving simultaneously, he added, to ensure that the supplies of foreign exchange is protected and secure for local usage. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
The Ministry of Public Security is enhancing the public relations strategy of its agencies as it seeks to partner with stakeholders for safer communities. Tiffany Rodias has the details.
15 persons from agencies within the Ministry of Public Security were part of a 2-day capacity building training in effective public relations communications. The training was conducted by UWI Consulting and is part of the Ministry of Public Security's effort to provide a more structured approach to public relations at the ministry. Projects and Portfolio Officer of UWI Consulting, Melissa Johnson, explains that the introductory training sets the foundation for better public relations.
One of the key objectives of the assignment is to ensure that the ministry and its agencies are effectively empowered to engage with their various publics, both their internal clients, their fellow staff members, as well as with the public that they serve.
Yesterday, the Ministry of Public Security hosted a media mingle with agency heads and officers to interact with the local media. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Daniel McCalman, says the aim is to build a stronger partnership with the media.
The aim of this activity is to initiate partnership with all stakeholders, including the media. The Ministry is looking forward to a very fruitful partnership as we seek to implement our integrated public relations strategy.
The ministry and its agencies are developing an effective public relations and communications plan for the year ahead. This will boost communications between all stakeholders as it seeks to improve citizen safety in communities across Guyana. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rojas.
A non-governmental organization, in collaboration with the government, is working closely with the courts and the New Opportunity Corps to provide alternative sentencing for youths. Details in this story.
The Executive Director for the Sustained Youth Development and Research Incorporated's SSYDR program, Magda Wills, says the coach attached to the organization appears at youth court cases. This is to lobby for them alternative sentencing through probation to the SSYDR project.
We have found that having youths alternatively sentenced makes much more sense than putting them into a prison system. Because working with the coach, what the coach will do is develop life plans. So you may not have a plan, but this coach comes to you saying, man, what's it that you want to do with yourself? So oftentimes they don't really know what it is that they want to do, but then with the guidance and the mentoring, you talk with them, you coach them through the process, and they develop that plan.
The executive director explains that the SSYDR project replaces the Skills and Knowledge for Youth Employment SKY project, which ended on September 30th, 2016. She adds that since its launch in October 2016, 10 to 15 youths were alternatively sentenced to the SSDYR. This has resulted in them getting a second chance to become productive citizens.
And one of the next steps that the coach will do outside of visiting the family, establishing contact, is ensuring that they're linked to some sort of livelihood opportunity, an employment, something to ensure that they're doing something that will lend to their path of development.
Additionally, Wills points out that the SSDYR also works closely with the Ministry of Education, Department of Culture, Youth and Sports. This collaboration enables youths to complete their time at the New Opportunity Corps to be a part of the coaching process of the SSDYR.
Simply because they're leaving an environment, a closed environment for that they would have been in 1 to 3 years, and coming out, being able to reintegrate them into society, ensure that they find employment, get them back into the school system with somebody guiding them through the process is important. And so we work with youth coming out of the NOC as well as youth alternatively sentenced through the courts.
Wills notes that though the SSDYR has one coach, due to lack of financial support, youths continue to receive the support needed. Namila Henry Rowe for Government News Brief.
About 100 indigenous youths are to benefit from the construction of a new dormitory facility, which is set to commence soon. Zanil Williams tells us more.
The new student dorm facility will allow for the hinterland students to further their studies at higher institutions of learning on the coast. These include the Government Technical Institute, GTI, Carnegie School of Home Economics, the Guyana School of Agriculture, GSA, and the University of Guyana, UG. The sum of $10 million was allocated for the design of the project in 2016, while $50 million was allocated for the construction in 2017. Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido Lowe, explains the scope of the works.
A new dorm is going to be built, and that will be more of a, let's say, they will be cooking their own food there and so on. So it's more like apartments of 8 and so on. Beautiful building.
Indigenous students 18 years and older are given scholarships through the Public Service Ministry to attend higher institutions of learning in Georgetown. This facility will provide necessary amenities for them to be in a comfortable environment away from home. In the interim, students between 16 to 18 years old attending technical institutions in Georgetown are housed at the students' dormitory at Lillian-Dahl. The government's vision is to develop and implement a plan to make a program of technical and vocational training universal across the country through the creation of skills training centers in every region. Zanil Williams reporting for the Government News Brief.
Members of the Parliamentary Sectoral Committee on Social Services visited the New Amsterdam Regional Hospital to examine the operational procedures of the facility. Delicia Haynes has the report.
Members of the committee on Thursday interfaced with staff and examined the functions and management aspects with regards to providing efficient health care to patients. The committee has found that drug shortages remain a sore issue at the New Amsterdam Hospital. Chairperson of the committee, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, said that these are among some of the issues that will be addressed and presented to the National Assembly.
Well, there have been instances where drug shortages have been raised by patients, notably in chronic non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension, as well as other medication for thyroids and other areas. What we have noticed is that there seems to be some difficulty between the demand or supply and procurement. So sometimes it is that the hospital may have but inadequate to supply the outpatient, may just have for inpatient, or they would have not received sufficient medication from MMU. So there seems to be shortages. However, they have received medication today, and we will have an updated list as to what is available and what is not.
Dr. Prasad further outlines the roles and responsibilities of the Parliamentary Committee, adding that issues such as drug shortages can be evidently addressed.
The way this committee functions, we will prepare a report based on what we would have encountered today in person, and also we will wait for some additional information based on what they have and other areas. We will now write to the same hospital, make the recommendations. One of the things that this committee also has the ability to do is to summon the Minister of Health, or any minister for the matter, if that ministry falls within our purview, to give reasons as to why there are shortages or why there's anything.
Meanwhile, Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, encourages all staff to continue to provide the best level of health care as the government works towards improving health care services in Guyana.
The delivery of the best quality health care services, regardless of the challenges, remain a priority. Not because of challenges we're going to compromise our health care. And so we want to encourage our young doctors and the senior personnel there to give up their best and to have pride as they dedicate their services, with unquestionable professionalism.
Other members of the Social Services Committee who visited the Health Institute included Vishwa Mahadio, John Adams, Alista Charlie, and Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido Lowe. For the Government News Brief, Delicia Haynes.
The Office of Climate Change will embark on a series of awareness workshops in schools on the coast to create awareness of climate change and how to help save the environment. More from Delon Sanko.
The Office of the Climate Change held its first workshops today with students of the St. Gabriel's Primary School. Communication specialist Yasmin Bowman says 20 schools will be targeted for sessions in the first half of 2017.
We're going as low as the nursery children. So we have primary, secondary, and nursery age children. For the nursery school children, the format of the awareness session will be in the form of a puppet show, because we know that the little ones are a little more more visual, and so to get them to better understand it, we're going to do it in the form of puppetry.
Bowman says that students will be quizzed at the conclusion of the workshop about what they've learned and will be given prizes as an incentive.
For the primary age children, it's very, very interactive. So we're presenting to them and we're allowing them to be involved. They're reading to us, they're answering questions as we go along, because we want all levels of children to have a better understanding. So we're not just targeting secondary age children or out of school youth or just adults. We're starting from as young as they can understand.
The awareness program is a collaborative effort between the Office of Climate Change and the Caribbean Youth Environment Network. Delon Sanko for the Government News Brief.
We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GNews website. We encourage you to subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. You can also like and follow us on Facebook to be updated as the news unfolds. Remember to join us again on Monday for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta Lafleur. Thank you for watching.